There is an art to making good film, and from an actor's standpoint, when you're doing filming on a physical location as opposed to green screens, it adds a sense of realism that helps the actors be able to get into character better than they would be staring at a tennis ball, as an example. There's a good interview which we're going to dive into here where Diego Luna talks about the fact that one of the main differences between Andor and some of the other Star Wars shows such as The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, so on and so forth, is while they're using the Unreal technology, the volume as they call it, and a lot of the work is done on green screen, in Andor it was primarily shot on physical locations. I think a lot of that was to replicate the look and feel that Rogue One had because Rogue One was shot in physical locations. And from what I've seen so far in the first three episodes of the show, they are matching the cinematography, the light grading, and everything else as much as they can in the Andor show, as you know, and so it looks and feels very much the same. There's a brilliant interview out there with Frank Oz where he talks about the the realism that comes from primarily shooting on a physical set or a physical location and then layering in your green screen and your CGI on top of that because the camera picks up light and it picks up edges and it picks up the physicality of objects more than it does a CGI character because the CGI character there's nothing really the camera can't pick anything up because there's nothing there so it's being put in to that digital space and the eye can tell that something's off there, something's weird. But there's also the physical component to it, which I do want to I'm going to play this video. I kind of think it's really interesting to go through. I haven't even done my intro yet. Hi, I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfield, the bearded dwarven princess. Welcome to my rambling series covering production on films and reviews of shows and so on and so forth. If you like the video here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icons to get more. And thanks to all of these amazing people for keeping me full time on YouTube. Because of you guys, I get to do this every single day and I get to wake up and just work on YouTube and do video production and streaming. So thanks so much. You too can become a supporter. It's super easy. Drop a super thanks on this video for $2, $5, whatever you can contribute. Way of saying thanks. You can also join as a member of the Adventurers Guild down there for a few bucks a month if you want to. Consider me like a Netflix subscription. More at the end on how you too can go above and beyond if you want to do other stuff. And let's get into this. So there's a really cool interview here. They're actually being asked, what's it like filming the TV show on physical sets rather than via digital technology.
I don't know. We all everyone working in this show, I think is pleased to have the opportunity to approach this the way we shot films all our lives.
It's important to note he's my age, I think, maybe a little bit younger. And he's a very famous Mexican actor, but also known in the States. He's done quite a bit of stuff over his career, but he's definitely someone who he's old enough that he's shot primarily on film, as opposed to a lot of the green screen actors who have only done green screen. If they've grown up in the last 10 years, but he's been around the block. I think he's been in film and TV since he was a teenager, so he's been around for a while.
know? And our reference are shot on locations, and that cinematic patience that gives you being in an amazing spot to witness that you're also discovering as you're filming it.
This is very important. He was talking about the patience required. So I know, God, there's another Mexican actor who directed Leonardo DiCaprio in that film where they're off in the north and he eats the buffalo and he gets attacked by the bear, and Tom Hardy's in it. And I can't remember any of their names. Um, but that director is famous for only using natural lighting. He only wants to shoot outdoors using natural light because it gives a certain cinematic feel to things, and that requires the patience that Diego is talking about here.
It's just a different feeling, I guess. And as an actor, also interacting with not just the real stuff, but with the clouds and the weather, and that brings
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the clouds and the weather and the lighting and how all that can change and it can impact your performance.
a different energy on set. Uh, I think it's a beautiful journey to work also with someone like Luke. It's the production designer who's so precise and takes so much like time deciding everything. There's a reason for everything to be there, you know.
By the way, he's speaking volumes here to the importance of a production designer and a set designer and the people who create the sets that the actors are going to interact in, and everything having its place and being storyboarded down to the last minutia of detail, to where, a little nail on the wall that you might not think about if you're watching it as a viewer, but when you put it in the context of all the other things that are on set, it adds a certain realism to the shot that you might not get if that nail wasn't there. That's the cool stuff.
There is a reason and a use for everything on set. Therefore, as an actor, it's complete freedom. You can use anything. If you push a button, something happens. If you open a drawer, there's something inside. And that's amazing, man. It's again, it makes our jobs enjoyable and easier, you know.
I fully agree. It's really cool because if you go over here and like, by the way, all these articles are going to be down below. Um, what they're using for the Mandalorian as an example. So if you see in this shot, they're using something called the volume, and it's this giant 360, in some cases 360-degree green screen where they've pre-rendered, in some cases, these shots and these sets so that they can shoot on a partially built set, but the actors are primarily acting in a digital space. Um, so what they're calling the volume is their LED immersive soundstage. Both Obi-Wan Kenobi and The Mandalorian were filmed in it, and it's a nearly 360-degree stage of seamless LED panel screens along with a ceiling. And it was first built in California for the first season of The Mandalorian, which is now it's been rebuilt and expanded, for other places. There's replica setups being set up across the world so that they can continue to do this. Um, so it allows for some really creative and cool stuff in the sense that it's basically real-time rendering, and gives them a virtual backdrop, which I think from I know that if you've listened to, say, Pedro Pascal and other actors talking about the the volume itself, it creates another level of immersion. I think even Ewan McGregor has spoken to this, that being able to film on that 360-degree soundstage, it gives them the freedom of feeling like they're in a real space, even though they are filming in digital, which is a vast, 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 improvement over the previous measure of doing things, which is here's a green screen, pretend like you're acting, here's the tennis ball, pretend that that's a real person, and it can look convincing, but it's definitely a challenge. Whereas with the volume technology, they're actually still feeling like they're in a physical location, even if they are being shot on a soundstage. But because they're able to actually see the set in real time as a pre-rendered thing, it helps with the immersion and things. But I like going back to what Diego Luna was saying, where you've got the lighting and the weather and everything else, and that's something that you can't replicate because you're out there and you can feel the wind on your face, you can see the clouds in the sky. It might be cold, so your character's feeling cold. Tom Cruise has talked about this, like one of the reasons he likes to do his own stunts and he does some of those crazy things in the Mission Impossible films is because, he said there's no better way to get in character than to actually do those things. And so you're acting, but you're also experiencing. And so you are in the moment, and it causes your performance to have a certain level of, visceral reality to it that you're not going to get when you're looking at a tennis ball or you're pretending that you're on a 3,000 foot, you know, cliff drop off. Really cool stuff here. So I highly recommend if you haven't watched this, the full interviews down here. There's some other interviews as well you can watch. I'm gonna drop links down below if you want to check this out. But I think it's really cool to think about the physicality of what they've done with the sets in Andor. I know based on the first 3 episodes that I've seen, they are incredibly detailed and a hell of a lot of fun to watch. I'm having a great time with Andor so far. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. And again, all of these people are amazing, and thanks to them, I get to do this full time. The easiest way for you to support as well is just drop a super thanks on this video for whatever you can contribute. It might be $2, it might be $50, it might be $200. Who knows? It's whatever you can and feel comfortable contributing. You can also join as a member down there, and if you want to go above and beyond, there's a Patreon page, patreon.com/wandering hermits, where my brother, my wife, and I are building our own fantastical world. It's a 5th edition tabletop. It's a point and click adventure game. It's a book series. You can also tune into a live stream. I play video games here every single day. morning and night. See you next time, everybody. Happy watching. May the force be with you.